Hello everyone, it is I, the Golden Scouta. I decided to do a face video for this reaction to Dragon Ball Daima. So, this series, just the TLDR, seems like it's lighthearted and fun, but I wanted to do something a little bit different than just going frame by frame and just going over every single mundane detail. So I wanted just to go over pretty much what I think I could add to the conversation. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So the first thing I really wanted to talk about was this setting over here, which is pretty much the dimension or planet or wherever that the main antagonist of this series is going to be. So I honestly think that this is a very interesting looking location. Kind of curious to see the story behind it. I've seen most people say that it's like Makaiyoshin or something like that. But just to go into a little bit more of detail, here's actually an interesting shot, and also, in my opinion, the most interesting shot of this whole thing, because these two are obviously going to be the main antagonists. There was a little snippet at the end of like a Kaioshin or Makaiyoshin with eyelashes, so honestly I think that that person in the white cape might actually be inspired by that one manga that that has like Goku's long lost son or something that he had with like a Kaioshin or something. Because that Kaioshin, my guess, is female. And then that other dude, I have no idea what he's all about, but a lot of people have pointed out a lot of these frames right here that they're observing are from the Majin Buu arc. And I have to agree that I think that this is going to be something that plays a pretty big role in this story, like at least motivation-wise. So another frame that's just kind of memey is never before told. Yeah, I know, everybody's like, oh, but GT was already told because Goku was already a kid. Well, I guess like they went Oprah Winfrey in this one where it's like, you're a kid, everybody's a kid. So, I mean, technically, this story is never before told because only Goku was a kid in GT, so see? But on to the interesting topic of discussion that I actually wanted to bring up. So, it's pretty obvious to me that the Dragon Balls are going to be used as the plot device to turn everyone into kids, but exactly what is the wish going to be? Because one of the things that I noticed is that Mr. Satan is a kid. So it might have to do with like the wording of the wish. Like it might be like I wish for all of Earth's champions to become kids again, like be in a weaker, more vulnerable state. Because you can't really use the Dragon Balls to kill someone, but I guess you can use them to de-age them. But at that point, why not just de-age them into like babies or something? But I guess getting a little bit too far ahead of myself. So what I think the first wish is going to be, I think that it's going to be, I wish that Earth's champions were kids or something, or a lot younger, or just in a more vulnerable state. That's my guess in anyways. And for the second wish, I was kind of thinking about it, because Piccolo Daimao, or Evil King Piccolo, depending on what you like to call him, he killed the dragon, and basically all they had to do is just tell Kami that the dragon was killed, and then he was like, well, just whip up a new one. And so I thought, what if the second wish was to scatter the Dragon Balls across the universe as opposed to on Earth? To me, that makes a lot of sense to actually do that, so that could be the wish too. So that's my guess for the second wish. And what is the reasoning for them doing this, like turning everyone into kids? I guess my whole thing is the purpose of this, obviously, it's to sell merchandise. So action figures of Kid Goku, Kid Vegeta, Kid Krillin, Kid Ten Shinhan, kid, Yamcha, you name it. So, first and foremost, that's obvious. But what could be the second reason? So, another reason I think is just the 40th anniversary. I think that honestly it kind of brings Dragon Ball back to its roots with Goku being a kid again. I mean, I know that GT did that before to kind of bring back the adventurous spirit of the old show, like whenever it first started. Because the whole thing is like Dragon Ball wasn't always just like a straight up fighter shonen. It had a lot of adventure in it, at least for a good part of it. So I think another reason why they could be doing this is possibly the limitations on the characters themselves. Because if you remember from GT, there was a limitation placed on Goku right from the get-go that he couldn't use the instantaneous movement, instant transmission, or teleportation, whatever you like to call it. He couldn't use that as a kid. And my thought is, well, maybe those two villains or antagonists, we don't even know if they're necessarily villains. What if they see like all of the god powers that Goku and Vegeta have been using, and they do this as a way to limit their god powers? Because it could easily be written that you can't use Super Saiyan Blue or Super Saiyan God or Ultra Instinct or anything like that as a kid. Because we know that it's not going to fly for them not to be able to use Super Saiyan as kids, because we've seen Goten and Trunks use them. Oh, and speaking of which, Goten and Trunks are kids again. Or not kids again, but they're toddlers. And this just feels trollish to me. It makes me think that they have to be aware, at least the makers of Dragon Ball Super, maybe even Toriyama himself, is actually aware of all the criticism that people were saying, like, oh my god, Goten and Trunks being kids like all of Dragon Ball Super, that is so annoying. Everybody was saying that. Even like people who aren't like super critical of Dragon Ball Super, they thought it was a bit ridiculous that they were kids for so long and just did not grow up. So this feels like a troll to me. This feels like that it's like, I see your criticism. I hear it. Let me troll you a little bit further, and instead of making them just kids again, let's revert them all the way down to toddlers. I just find it so hilarious. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Goten and Trunks fans. You guys have been done dirty. But yeah, going on about it, I mean, to me, with this screenshot, just kind of this whole mossy bit, to me, doesn't look like it'd be Piccolo's house. You'd think that he would take a little bit better care of it, but maybe this is Kami's old spaceship and this is what they're going to use to actually travel into space, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not exactly sure why they would bring it back, but to me, it seems like that this is like Kami's old spaceship or something like that. Because I don't know, they already built spaceships back whenever like Vegeta was training in space and all that, so I don't know why they would need to do that. But another thing that I found interesting was this close-up of this red eye. It looks like that the person who has the red eye has green skin. I don't know if it could just be the lighting in this shot, but the skin looks green here, so maybe we might get an introduction again to evil Namekians, like how, like Piccolo, like King Piccolo, for instance. Like, he was like the only, like, evil Namekian, and like every single one of his children were demons instead of just being Namekians, so maybe we'll kind of have that concept return again. Who knows? But, honestly, that's kind of really what I have. I don't want to just go through every single like screenshot or whatever and just be like, oh look, there's Goku and Kaioshin sleeping and blah blah blah. Oh, there's Yamcha as a kid. There's this as a kid. Just kind of wanted to do like a short video just giving my overall thoughts about this. But anyways, like I said before, I think that this looks like a lighthearted and fun series. I mean, it's kind of bringing Dragon Ball back to its roots, and think a lot of people forget that Dragon Ball at the end of the day is a kid's show. I mean, I know Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball had a lot more violence and stuff, but I think I've heard at least that the guidelines back then of what was allowed on TV was a lot more lax in comparison to what it is right now. But yeah, I just want to do this video off the cuff and just see what you guys think. I would say that this series looks like it's going to be fun. Like, my expectations are set reasonably, just at a reasonable level. Like, I'm not like super hyped. I don't think it looks bad. Honestly, what we saw in the trailer, the animation looks better than like 90% of Super, honestly. Like, I don't want this to be a super trashing video because that's not what it is, but honestly, to me, this seems like that it has more reasonable expectations to go into, at least with this. So yeah, let me know what you think down below, and with that, have a good one.